Well, what a giant surprise, but Georgia beats the absolute bejesus out of a terrible South Carolina team, just like everybody with even half of a brain knew was going to happen. South Carolina was just severely outmatched in this game in every way imaginable. Offensively, defensively, special teams, coaching, clearly. Frank Beamer. I can't help it. I'm sorry. I'm going to keep calling him Frank Beamer because it made y'all so mad. So, yeah, Frank Beamer just extremely outmatched here today. I'm going to say something positive about South Carolina, though. The receiver, Van, what is it, Josh Van? I don't know. I can't remember his first name. V-A-N-N. The guy's got a lot of potential. The guy's a hell of a receiver. He made some amazing catches and some amazing almost catches. Georgia's pass rush makes it hard for a lot of QBs, and I think it's going to be the case for this season. But I really don't think South Carolina's QBs are all that good. I was disappointed in Carolina's running back as well. He was pretty good last year. Harris didn't look too good today. Again, Georgia makes a lot of players look bad, so we'll see. Maybe they get a little bit better down the road. But this game really was over early on. You could tell early on that South Carolina was just severely outmatched in this game. Carolina did become the first team this year to score an offensive touchdown against Georgia. Even though it was in the fourth quarter against a lot of the second and third string, doesn't matter, still counts. It still shows up at points on the scoreboard. So congratulations for that. You were the first team to score a offensive touchdown. I thought Georgia played great. The defense especially, first stringers in particular, played great. Georgia's front seven. I think Georgia's definitely got the best defense in the country. The offense, still working on that. Still got to get a few players back offensively. Some of our wide receivers we need to get back. Kyrus Jackson played a handful of plays at wide receiver today, but not many. Darnell Washington still has not played this year, starting tight end. George Pickens, of course, will be back probably in November. Dominic Blaylock, he'll be back probably in another week or two. These are all starting pass catchers on our team, or we're supposed to be starting pass catchers on this year's team. So clearly that'll help the offense when we get those guys back. The running game, which some people have been complaining about the first couple of weeks, not me. I'm tired of having rushing titles and 19 NFL running backs on the team. I've been wanting a grown-up passing game, and we have that. JT Daniels went for over 300 again today. He was extremely accurate with the ball. Had the one poor decision where he threw the interception, but other than that, he played almost a perfect game. Very good, a great game for JT Daniels. And I thought the running backs played well today, and I thought the offensive line did a pretty good job of opening up some holes. I mean, if you look at Georgia's top three running backs, was there a 100-yard runner? No, but they rotate them in and out so much. I mean, nobody had anywhere close to 10 carries today. But if you look at Georgia's top three running backs, Zeus, Milton, Cook, McIntosh, between them, they averaged about 7.5 yards per carry. James Cook, I think, averaged like 11 yards per carry, but he didn't have very many. But he averaged like 11 yards a carry. Zeus, two of them averaged right at 6-something, and one of them 8-something, whatever it is. So about 7.5, 8 yards per carry on the ground today for Georgia's top rotation of running backs. So I thought that was good. Field goal kicker made a field goal today, which was great considering he'd been 1 for 3 on the season. Jake Camarda, the punter, a finalist for the Ray Guy Award last year. I wouldn't be surprised to see him win it this year. He's a great punter. He does good on kickoffs too. So I thought all around a pretty good game by Georgia's players. By the players. Kirby Smart is a fucking moron with this quarterback thing. And no, I'm not going to get over it. And, if for anybody that's new to the Uncle Lou channel, I'm not so simple and basic that I go, well, Georgia wins, that means everything's great. Or, oh, Georgia lost, that means everything's terrible. No, I'm happy to get this win over the Gamecocks. I can't stand South Carolina. I'm happy to get this win. Georgia improves to 3-0. And stop with the talk about Georgia moving to number 1 against Bama. Bama beat the number 11 ranked team on the road. Maybe it was a little disappointing in terms of the point spread or what the expectations were for people watching that game. Maybe thought it wasn't going to be that close. But no, Georgia's not jumping Bama in the poll, nor should they. Now, Georgia had a couple of first-place votes in the poll last week. Maybe they get a couple more first-place votes, but no, they're not jumping Bama. They shouldn't jump Bama. And who cares? All that matters for Georgia, or really anybody in the SEC, all that matters is that you get to the SEC title game with 1 loss or less. That's all that matters. Because then if you win the SEC title game, you're going to the playoffs. Who cares? So it doesn't matter what the AP has anybody ranked in week 3. So I know a lot of people are already talking about that already. I do a top 10 every week. I'm going to leave Alabama at number 1 in my top 10. I'll leave Georgia at 2. Now, I think 3 through 10 gets really hard to figure out because Clemson was terrible today. Oklahoma struggled per normal. We'll see what happens with the Auburn-Penn State game. Penn State's up 28-20 right now. If they hang on to beat Auburn, they're a top 10 team in my opinion. But the quarterback situation at Georgia, and of course I talked about this during the halftime video, and I don't care if it makes Georgia fans mad or not. You got, no matter what team you're a fan of, I'm sure y'all know some fans that are like this. Why don't you stop complaining, Lou? Georgia won the game. What else do you want? I want to win the next game. And the game 3 weeks from now and 4 weeks and 5 weeks and an SEC championship game and a playoff game and a national title game. And those games are won and lost a lot of times by decisions you make now or things you implement or decide in the off season or summer camp or fall practice. And I don't understand. I don't know how it benefits Georgia in any way, either immediately, in the short-term future or in the long-term future, to play Stetson Bennett at all, ever. I don't understand it. I talked about it at the halftime video because JT Daniels was on fire in the first half of this game. He started out 8 for 9 with a touchdown pass and 120 yards. What does Kirby Smart do? Yanks him out of the game, puts Stetson Bennett in the first quarter. Stetson Bennett comes out, throws an interception. Not getting back into that again. I talked about that in the halftime video. So then in the second half, we're up by 30-something points. I believe we were up almost 40 points at one point. Whatever it was. What was it? 40-6 we were up at one point. And I said, okay, now's the time where you take JT Daniels out. And you put Carson Beck in, or Brock Vandagriff, or whoever you think is better between those two, which apparently is Carson. He's been listed higher on the depth chart. Carson Beck has been listed as QB2 since April. The quarterback depth chart, according to Kirby Smart, since April, was JT Daniels, Carson Beck, Brock Vandagriff, Stetson Bennett. But every time it gets time for Kirby to prove that on the field, who goes out there? Stetson Bennett. And sure enough, in the second half, when Georgia gets out to a huge lead, the perfect time to put in a young quarterback with not much experience, what does he do? Trot Stetson Bennett out there again in the second half. I don't understand. Carson Beck's a highly rated 4-star recruit. This isn't his first year in Athens. This is his second year in Athens with the same offensive staff, same offensive coordinator, same offense. And you can't put him in. You don't trust him to start against UAB last week. You don't put him in the second half of a 40-point blowout to South Carolina. All this guy needs is reps, okay? I mean, I'm not here to tell you that Carson Beck's going to end up being an amazing quarterback. I'm here to tell you we don't fucking know because you keep trotting Stetson Bennett out here, and it doesn't make any sense. Playing Stetson Bennett in the fourth quarter of this game does not make Georgia better. It doesn't. In no way does that make Georgia any better. It doesn't make us better today, doesn't make us better tomorrow, doesn't make us better next year. If JT Daniels leaves for the NFL, what do we got? A Carson Beck that's attempted 6 passes? Paul Tyson, the great grandkid of Bear Bryant, who's only on Alabama's team because he's his great grandkid or whatever, has attempted more passes in the first 3 weeks of this season than Carson Beck has in his entire career at UGA. And I'm no Carson Beck fan, no Carson Beck nut hugger. I'm just saying, if he's QB2, why isn't he playing? And why is Stetson Bennett out there? Stetson Bennett will never be an answer for Georgia. Ever. Ever. Not in a game that matters. Not in a game against a top 10 team. Not in an SEC championship game. Not in a major bowl game, a playoff game, or a national title game. Ever. Never will Stetson Bennett be the answer. So why is he playing? He's got a ton of experience. He started how many games last year? 5, 6, whatever it was. He's got a ton of experience. He knows the offense. God forbid we have some emergency situation and you've got to put Stetson Bennett in. Okay, put him in. But in the meantime, why can't Carson Beck or Brock Vandagriff get in the fucking game and throw a goddamn pass? This shit doesn't make any sense, and this isn't the first year this has happened. It's happened every year since Kirby got there. The backup quarterback goes in the game, if he's lucky, and all he does is hand the ball off 5 or 6 times and take a knee. I don't see how that's preparing a quarterback to play in a game. I just don't see it. I just don't see it. And you can't keep going out and signing all these highly rated 4- and 5-star QBs and then telling everybody they're all terrible and Stetson Bennett is the answer. I'm not buying it. I, for one, don't believe a single word that comes out of Kirby Smart's mouth when it comes to quarterbacks. In fact, I believe the opposite. So if Kirby is sending Stetson out there because he thinks Stetson is the best option, then I think Stetson's probably the worst option. Just look at the track record. Anyway, too bad for the Gamecock. They suck yet again. They're terrible. They've been terrible. They're going to be terrible forever. They've never won the SEC, and if they stay in SEC for another 100 years, they still won't win the SEC. They're just a pitiful program, and I don't see anything changing that in the near or distant future. Have a good morning.